I'm going to read it to you, saying that the Patriots issue the following statement. A young man was murdered last week. We extend our sympathies to the family and friends who mourn his loss. Words cannot express the disappointment we feel knowing that one of our players was arrested as a result of this investigation. We realize that law enforcement investigations into this matter are ongoing. We support their efforts and respect the process. At this time, we believe this transaction is simply the right thing to do. Let's bring in our senior NFL insider, Chris Mortensen, standing by here on a story like this. Now, to me, what stands out, we believe this transaction is simply the right thing to do. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, there had been some speculation behind the scenes that no matter what happened here, that Aaron Hernandez would not be part of the Patriots this year. Now, that was all behind the scenes. In fact, Mike Reese of ESPNBoston.com had kind of alluded to it. And the thing about it is that, as they noted, there's a young man who's dead. Regardless of what the arraignment's going to say in terms of the charges that are being brought to Aaron Hernandez, there's some level of involvement, or the police believe there is, and the Patriots obviously want to wash their hands of it. And so certainly they've been in conversations with the league security office. Jeff Miller is the chief of security for the NFL. The Patriots have their own security department. And this is not a matter where you say, well, Bill Belichick decided to do this. No, this is an ownership matter. This is Robert Kraft, the owner, basically saying, we're not going to move forward with Aaron Hernandez on our roster. If we don't believe he's going to be on our roster in a month from now when they open up training camp, let's just take care of this right now.
So this doesn't really come as a surprise. You were hearing rumblings before, but we've seen teams, NFL teams in the past, where they've had players accused of a crime. We still don't know what he's been charged with, and the teams stick with that player, and they patiently wait it out. What's your reaction to them just coming in and saying, you know what, we're cutting all ties?
Well, the swiftness of it maybe catches people off guard a little bit. But don't forget, this is homicide. If you go back to these other players, were homicides involved. I mean, one we can go to is Ray Lewis, in the Super Bowl after 1999. Even though he wasn't playing in it, he was involved in a car. There was a fight. Two young men were stabbed to death. As everybody knows, that went to trial. Ray eventually pleaded out to a misdemeanor obstruction charge. And, the Ravens stuck with him, and Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner at that point, fined him $250,000. Again, that was a misdemeanor obstruction charge. He was not charged with murder, or he was not certainly convicted of murder. Nobody was convicted in that case, in fact. And then we all know with Michael Vick and the dogfighting scandal that happened a few years ago, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell basically ordered Michael Vick to stay away from training camp until there was some decision made, whether there was a plea or the legal process had played out. And in fact, Michael Vick pleaded guilty, and he was suspended indefinitely by the commissioner's office. So there certainly was an indication. As soon as Hernandez was arrested today, and he's going to be arraigned in court soon, then the NFL would probably wait until they get to training camp, or sometime between now and training camp. The NFL probably would have said, Aaron Hernandez, you're not going to training camp. You can collect your training camp pay, which isn't much, by the way. But right now, the Patriots have pretty much done the preemptive thing and said, you're not on our roster. So he's not on anybody's roster right now.